And we are live. Welcome back to Pistons Jack Fan Reacts, where we are going to talk through the Pistons' second consecutive loss this afternoon, I should say, to the Phoenix Suns, 121 to 125. I've got three people lined up to join the stream today, which is huge considering the Pistons loss. So we're going to open the show with Mark, who's a fellow Australian. He's going to join the stream for the first time. He should be here in just a moment. And then we have John joining us from Switzerland. And then I've forgotten the username, but we have another new guest joining us after that. So we're going to go for about 15 minutes each person. So if I've probably got an hour to stream today, so we have about 15 minutes towards the end. If anyone else would like to join the stream and talk through the loss or the Pistons in general, please shoot me a DM now, and we'll do our best to get you up here. But pretty tough game today, guys. Not like it did. It was a different game to the Pacers game, but I mean, for me, the thing that stuck out the most was how the Suns pretty much implemented the exact same tactic the Pacers did with Andrew Nemhard, and they had tonight Ryan Dunn just pick Cade up full court every single time and make his life as tough as possible. And Cade had a very similar game to the one he had against uh, the Pacers in tonight. He hit like 20.6 rebounds, 11 assists. He passed the ball reasonably well, had a kind of costly turnover when the Pistons were trying to make a run there, but 7 of 26 from the field. So after really having one of his worst games of the season against the Pacers, he kind of followed it up with another definitely far below average from Cade and the Cade we've come to know this season. So that was the thing that stood out to me the most. Obviously, Devin Booker in the first half got off against the Pistons. I think he had 21 or 22. And then, Kevin Durant in the second half, I think, had 30 points, I want to say, after only was 1 of 9 at halftime. So those were just a couple of the things that stood out to me the most. Just while we wait for Mark to come up here. The other thing that frustrated me the most was just the offensive rebounding in that fourth quarter. When you look at the final stats, the final numbers were 13 offensive rebounds to the Suns to 15 for the Pistons. But I can't check it now, but I'd be very interested to see what it was in the fourth quarter because it felt like the Suns got a heap of second chance opportunities in that fourth quarter that just, it's been a bit of a theme for this season. It's sometimes cost the Pistons, sometimes they've been able to overcome it. But they do have a rebounding issue in terms of limiting second chance points. And it felt like there's just too many. Like the Suns missed a heap of wide open threes off the back of them. But from memory, when it was about a possession of difference, I want to say the Suns were only up by 2 or 3. Pistons gave up an offensive rebound and the Suns got a bucket and got it back to a 2-possession game. And it just felt like Pistons couldn't recover. But when I talk about the rebounding, I don't actually think it's all on Jalen Duren, by the way. I think it's a team thing. Often Duren or Stu might be switched onto someone else or not in the paint to grab their offensive rebound, and the rest of the team doesn't box out and someone will fly in and grab it and put it back in from the opposition team. But yeah, it's been an issue all season. Just another frustrating game. I still don't think it's how can I say? I feel like it's a bit negative for the fan base after tonight's loss. I think a lot of us expected the Pistons to bounce back because I don't think they've had 2 losses in a row for well over a month and maybe even like 6 weeks. Like, I think this will be their 3rd loss. They lost to the Nuggets, the Warriors, and now they've just lost to the Pacers and the Suns. But I think they'd won 11 games in this 15-game stretch. So I think two losses in a row, as my man Harry says here, since December 4th. So shout out to Harry. Go follow him over at Order of the Blazing Horse. I think I'm jumping on the pod later this month, so really excited for that. But So since December 4th, so definitely about 6 weeks since they've lost 2 in a row. So I can see why people are feeling a bit down, but there were some things that really stood out tonight that I think will need to be addressed if the goal is to make the playoffs, which is what I think it should be. They really need to address this secondary ball handling area. It's really stood out. But we're going to bring up my man, Mark. We're going to chat through the game. What's going on, man? We got you.
Oh, hey, Jack. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got you, mate.
Morning, mate. Yeah,
We have a bit of a delay.
tough loss, I reckon. Tough loss.
Very tough loss. But
Oh,
before we get into the game, just tell us a little bit about how you became a Pistons fan. Because from memory, you're in Perth, Western Australia, which is on the western
yeah.
side, obviously, of Australia. But just talk us through your fandom. We can see the Grant Hill jersey in the back and how you became a fan.
Around 1990, my uncle James travelled overseas, went to America, and around that period in the NBL, the Wildcats, and they have been for decades now, really successful. So, and basketball was taken off, and my uncle brought me back a couple of Pistons shirts. He gave me a Spider Sally shirts, and yeah, I was just hooked from then. I love the Bad Boys. I love their rivalry against the Bulls. And then when Jordan left, it was just perfect. Grant Hill came along and he was just everything to me, as a kid. He could do it all. Just amazing. And then, it's tough to say, but around 2000s, basketball sort of lost a bit of popularity in Australia, I think. AFL really took over. And I don't know who you go for, Jack, but I go for the Saints. And
I
so
do as
I've got my
well. I
Titans.
go for the Saints.
Ah, yeah. Up
What are
the
the
Saints.
chances of that?
So
What are
we're
the
gluttons for
chances of
punishment,
that?
aren't we?
Yeah. So
So
that's
I kind of
incredible.
missed the go to work era. The noughties was tough, and then recently we've got league pass. So since about 2018, I've been able to follow the team closely, and then when we got Cade, yeah, I was convinced. So I just, as you can see, I heavily invested in
I love
him
it.
and the team, I guess, and yeah, I've really enjoyed the rebuild. The struggles have built the team. Probably game 20 against the Celtics last year, when we were 17 straight losses, up by 20 at halftime, and we still lost the game. I thought the spirit of the team was dead, But how much resilience have they shown?
Nah, the resilience. We're talking after a bit of a tough loss, but they're a resilient bunch, that's for sure, to bounce back the way they have this season. I just want to
Mm.
quickly note, so for a lot of people probably watching right now in the US, and so the Saints is our AFL team, and they have here, the St Kilda. So I actually live just near St Kilda, the suburb, but
Oh, you're lucky.
like, but we follow the worst AFL team in history. Like the
Yeah,
Saints have been around for 152 years and won one.
yeah.
We call it premiership, but one championship. They've finished on the bottom of the ladder the most times. So Mark and I watching the Pistons for the past 15 years and one of the worst AFL teams in history. I can't question your what's the word? Dedication to your sports
Do you know
teams
what it
because we've
is?
been
I
through
call it.
it.
It's called moral fiber, mate. If you've got your
Yeah.
moral fiber, you'll stick with it, and that's what's happening, isn't it? Like you can
Yeah.
see JB selling the message with wins now. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a bit about tonight's game. Well, for
Yeah.
you and I, it was very early in the morning. I know you were over on the west side. The game must have tipped off at, did you say 6 a.m.?
I actually, Jack, I screwed up and I missed the first quarter.
That's
Yeah,
all
I
right.
went to a 40th yesterday, so
Oh,
yeah.
mate, well, thank you for jumping on. Well, talk us through
No,
your
it's
main
great.
takeaways from the game or what stood out to you the most.
Well, from what I could gather from the first half, to be honest, the little love fest between Cade and Durant, sorry, it kind of put them both off their games. And Durant, being the professional, kind of switched it on in the second half. Look, I don't understand when Cade's getting pressed full court. Why aren't we just putting Sasa on the court just to break that up a bit and let him blend into like the general offense? Because by the time we get it over half court, and it's wearing him out. You can see it's only been 2 games, and so that's a bit confusing to me. And the spacing, and we were running really hot. I think the last couple of days after the national press, it's kind of taken the shine off, but they're still working at it. You can see. I'm not too fast. I think it was a game we could have won, but yeah, it's difficult.
Well, that's the thing. Like ultimately, like the Pacers game, I think was a bit more disappointing than this one. But I think Indiana are also a much better team than the Suns right now.
Yeah.
Not that the Suns are bad, but I think that look, they still were in both games. They still could have won both games. They definitely could have won today. And I like what you brought up there about Cade having too much responsibility on offense, or too much of a workload, I should say. Because I'm with you. Since the past 2 games, both Indiana and the Suns have just gone, we're going to put our best on-ball defender on Cade and make him work for everything. And because the Pistons have no other reliable ball handlers apart from Marcus Sasser, JB's kind of, I agree with you. I think Sasser and Cade, he should try and get them a few more minutes together. But I think the bigger issue here is like, if the goal, like I'm not saying it's playoffs or bust, because that would be me just shifting the expectations way too fast, but they certainly can make the playoffs. So I think there is some players out there that they can get without giving up, one of their core to really help with that secondary ball handling issue, because teams, I feel like, are just going to start doing this more and more and just making Cade work for absolutely everything. And like you said, he looks really tired.
Yeah, I think, Bryce Simon raised a good point on the Pistons Pulse, of trying to maybe start Sasa. I look, to be honest, it adds spacing, it adds pace, especially when Cade was on the bench with his thumb in the third quarter. I mean, that's when we showed probably our best play, and it was because we were pushing it even off their scores. So, and it's because they're not looking at him. And then I'm not the coach, obviously. I'm just an idiot here in WA, sitting in a gaming chair. But I feel if Asar got brought on for Cade, and then their pairing, Sasa and Asar, is like at least something that can be developed because of the scoring and the ball handling from both of them. But I kind of seem to think we have something that can cover it in Sasa, just only for certain matchups. Yeah.
Yeah. And when we think back to when Ivy was healthy, Marcus Sasser was out of the rotation for a lot of it. So you could kind of have, I'm not saying give Sasser the same minutes and usage as Ivy, but you certainly could start Marcus in the short term, see how that looks, and have him and Cade split minutes, so you've always got one of them on the court. It's just JB he's stuck by Tim Hardaway Jr. for the whole season, so it would have to be maybe a SAR that would come out, but it's tricky.
There's always that human element, and these guys are millionaires. So you're trying to say to one, can you take one for the team, even though you already have? These vets have come in and showed great leadership. Can you go one step further? Can you let us really just let these young guys, because JB, since he's come in, like I said before, the wins are selling his message. The players are playing more free, especially the young guys, So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
I think, what did I want to bring up here? There's a comment I really liked. I've lost it, but can I get your thoughts just on Ron Holland?
Yeah.
I think I know what you expected before the season, man, but I thought tonight that stretch you talk about when Cade was off, like I thought Ron was awesome. Made some big plays.
I mean, Ron, to me, since he's hit the team, he's made it something like the Bad Boys or that Go to Work team. He's a character, right? And Detroit Pistons teams over the years have always been filled with characters. So he brings that defensive energy that we need because it's our identity, which I love that we're getting back to. And it stems from him. And it happens a lot. Sorry to the Americans, but don't you think it happens a lot in AFL, Jack? When
Yeah,
like Joel Selwood, these young guys come in, they're
yeah,
professionals as they walk in. I'm not saying he's fully like, but his competitive attitude, the way he shows he's always trying to improve, it's infectious. And so he's kind of the groundswell, it's bubbling to the surface. Oh, he's amazing, man. I
absolutely.
love him. I can't wait for his
And the
cards to come
confidence.
out. They're going to be cheap as, and I'm going to grab every one, eh?
Well, can you actually? I can see some cards over the back there. Could you
Yeah.
maybe just over your shoulder grab your favorite or most valuable card you've got there?
Yeah. So I'm at KWAPC. If you want to have a perv, go check it out on Instagram. There's some good stuff up there. Uh, Look, I love this because it was a big hit. I don't know if you can see it too well. It is a
Oh no,
sticker
yeah,
auto. I have a lot of on cards, but that's to 10 gold recon Cade
I love it. Is he wearing
rookie
the?
auto.
Is he in
No,
that
just
grey
the
jersey or is it a white jersey, the
I
home
think it might
jersey?
be the great jersey. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Another one. This one because it was a redemption. That's a killer. That you can't really see it, sorry, but
no, we can see
that's
it. I like the background.
that's an on card auto number to 49, a
Love it.
redemption. I mean, I don't have the most massive cards, but I've got a lot. Like for
I love it. I'm jealous of your backdrop. Yeah, it makes
oh
mine
yeah,
look
man. Cheers. I
outdoing
spent
me
a week
over here,
setting it
man.
up. Yeah.
It looks unreal. Um, just back to the game. Is there
Yeah.
any other thoughts from tonight or looking ahead? Just
Oh
where are
mate,
you at with the team overall?
things that kill me are free throws for one.
Yeah,
Like how does
yeah,
Fontecchio? I mean, and we're piling on him. I feel bad, but those two missed free throws sort of set a trend. It's like they're gonna hate us, Jack. But like in the AFL, you get the yips, and it spreads through
yeah.
the team. Someone starts missing, and it gets in their minds. That and long rebounds, man. Like I
Oh
feel
yeah, don't.
sometimes Duran gets pushed really deep, so the rest of the team has to kind of help him out, and then the ball just lands at the foul line. How
Yeah,
just check it out. How many times does the ball just bounce out?
yeah,
And also, someone if they're on the wing and they're defending, they kind of stop ball watch, but they
yeah,
don't think about a guy coming in behind him, just grabbing an offensive, little things like that. Tonight's game, yeah, I mean, Cade didn't seem to have it in his jump shot, so
yeah,
I don't know. It was a tough one, man. This
yeah.
the Suns have a lot of high end talent.
They do. No,
Yeah,
it was. I would say rebounds, free throws were killers. There were other things, but I mean,
yeah.
even Tim Hardaway Jr. just missing his first two of those three.
Oh,
Like,
man, yeah.
honestly, part of me feels like they probably still weren't going to win that game. I feel like the Suns just had the talent to close them out, even if you hit all three. But you just like you said, it was infectious. Fontecchio missed two. The
Mm,
Pistons overall, like Beasley missed. Oh, he was 0 of 1 tonight.
yeah.
Like 24 or 36 overall, like just leaving
Ron missed
at
one.
least
Ron
5 to
missed one.
6 points. Like it's just costly, especially when you're giving up offensive rebounds like they did, especially in that
Yeah.
fourth.
And we
Um,
don't get many free throw shots. We don't get that
yeah,
many. So we got to cash
yeah,
them in, man.
yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, so the Pistons now, well, where we'll end here, Mark, is Pistons, I think now are 21 and 21 on the season. So
Right.
still on pace for 41 wins, which still sounds absolutely insane to me, and is why even though I get a bit down in these games after a loss, especially, it's important to remind myself that I had them winning 29 games this year. So they do have some tough games coming up. So they play at Houston on Monday or Tuesday morning for us. Then I'm just trying to find the rest of the schedule. But I think they've also got a game in there in Atlanta as well next week. And then there's one other game. But how do you see him going across the next couple of weeks? Like, are you concerned at all? Do you think they're going to drop off, or are you still maintaining
No,
hope they can keep it up?
no, there's no. I don't find any concerns. My long-term goal for the season would be to just make the play-in,
Yeah,
and you know, conspiracy Mark here might say the NBA might reward us. They might reward us for being competitive this year. Look at Atlanta last year. You only need to look as
yeah,
far as last year. We might get the number one pick. It's
yeah,
ridiculous. So for the rest of the season, it's about building the bonds between the players, really. Enjoy Malik while he's here, because I don't think he'll be here next year. And I think, look, if we can get to high 30s wins, there's nothing we can say to say that we're disappointed, apart from Ivy's injury, man.
yeah. That's the only thing, the
You
only bummer,
know,
really.
and you think today he would have been very important, because pressuring the rim is something that Cade is struggling with at the moment because of his
Yeah,
energy levels. So over the next stretch of games, we're going to need Ron and Asar to really just, I think, just
yeah,
attack, go for it.
yeah. Absolutely. No,
30,
and
35 to 38 wins, something like that, if we
And
get
that would
there.
still be massive. That's a huge step
Oh,
in the right direction, obviously. But yeah, I'm with you. They've. I'm not saying they win both these games if Ivy's playing. I think they probably win one though. Like you can't. Like I had some people saying to me, "Well, Ivy wasn't that good at running the backup unit. He more excelled next to Cade, but still, like Ivy was giving you basically 20 points, 41%
mm.
from three, like best clutch
And long
player on the team.
rebounds.
Yeah, he was good
Long
on the
rebounds,
boards."
man.
Yeah, so like they miss him desperately. Just
Mm.
taking the pressure off Cade. So that's always gonna be the one negative of the season. But look, Mark, any final thoughts before I let you go, man? It's been a pleasure to have you on.
You know, Khan the 313. It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's so exciting. It's so
yeah,
good.
yeah,
And to you, Jack, you know, you're doing such a good job, man. I've been
yeah,
following you for over a year now, and I think this platform you're creating, like, I'm so humbled and grateful, and I hope everyone enjoyed my banter.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
keep barracking for the Saints and the Pistons, and I don't know.
Hey,
I'll come back on soon if you'll have me. I love this. So it's so
mate,
good.
you can come on every single show. You just got to shoot
I
me a
took
DM.
notes. Look, took notes.
Oh my god, this is mate.
Uh,
This is unreal. This is unreal.
yeah,
Yeah. No, thank you so much for the kind words. Because reason I made this like I love the Pistons. Absolutely love it, like everyone else does. But being here in Australia after a tough loss like this, sometimes you don't have anyone to talk to. Like there's so many
nah,
people. Like I got John joining us right up after this from Switzerland, who stays up at
yeah,
night and he just wants to come on and talk about the Pistons. You just want to get it off you. You want to celebrate the win. So that's what this channel's for. So if you want to come up, mate, you just DM me and we'll get you on every single time. I'll always
yeah.
have time
Thanks,
for
man.
everyone. So,
Oh,
so
I get
yeah.
it, because like, how many times have you had someone say, "I've never met anyone that goes for the Pistons"?
Mate, the amount of it's mainly the Aussies that DM me on Instagram, like,
Yeah,
oh, I thought I was the only one. I've honestly had that message like nearly
yeah,
50 times. And I'm like,
yeah.
so I'm actually working on something in the background to try and help connect us all better. So there's more than just
Sick.
this. So I'm really excited about that because there's so many Pistons fans around the world that just want someone to talk to after games. So I
Yeah.
hope this helps. And yeah, man, please
Oh,
come on
definitely.
anytime.
Awesome,
All
man.
right, mate. We'll chat soon.
Thanks.
Last thing.
Cheers.
Tell the
Yeah.
people where they can follow your Instagram.
Yeah. So just,
Cards.
at KWAPC, and
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to have to start uploading some more cards. Yeah, and I'm probably going to start a new one called Core 4 and More. Maybe we'll see.
love it.
I'm looking at it
Absolutely
because I've
love it,
got
mate.
heaps of Pistons cards. Yeah, sweet, sick, man.
Well, like I said, mate, very jealous of your background. I'm gonna have to get my hands on some
Thanks,
new
man.
Pistons gear to outdo you. But you have a good
Awesome.
morning, good day, and we'll chat very
Yeah,
soon, mate.
yeah. Enjoy your Arvo.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
All right. Always how good. I don't know if just love having Aussies on here. It's always an absolute pleasure, even after a loss. It's just the best connecting with other fans. Like honestly. especially when you get a fresh face up here. It's unreal. I'm just dropping John a link now to get him on up here. See how my man from Switzerland's going. But quickly go through some comments as well. What else we got down here? There was one. So YouTube user, I'm with you. CJ is available without giving up real assets because New Orleans wants to avoid the tax. He's perfect. I agree. And I also think he fits when Ivy comes back next season. I think he gives you a contract to move next season as well, or in the summer if CJ doesn't want to come back with his expiring. I think it's around low 30 million next year. And like, I mean, I think Ivy's a better asset than CJ, clearly, at this point of their careers, but CJ is just a better, flat out better scorer. Like he's a 20-point per game scorer, elite in the mid range, pull up from three. So really, I'm really leaning more towards this deal if it clearly doesn't involve future picks and any of the real core. But we're going to bring up John now. How you going, man?
How's it going?
Look, I'm feeling a lot better now. I've just had Mark up here to get some of the have a chat. But look, tough game tonight. Clearly, what are your thoughts following that one? And I guess maybe the past two losses because we haven't spoken in a few days.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch the Pacers game, so I'm not really sure how that went. I just saw the final score, but it feels like the massive amount of the carry job Cade has been doing, it's catching up. Like
Yeah,
you can't drop 15 assist triple doubles every week and it's just normal. Unless your name is like Nikola Jokic, it's not happening.
no,
So
yeah,
I feel like it's just natural that we're like having some down games, and even then the down games, it's bad shooting, but it's still 11 assists on like 3 turnovers, so it's not completely horrible stinkers. But I feel like a game like today is where you really notice the absence of Ivy, because while I think like Tobias had like something in the 20s in points, and
Tobias was solid.
Beasley shot decent as well, but Ivy just brings more energy, I want to say. Ivy just gives me more confidence when he's out there, because he's obviously the secondary ball handler, which we desperately need another one.
Oh man,
It's
desperately.
Those cadeless minutes are real bad. We need another ball handler.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you, what's your thoughts on? I was just talking about CJ McCollum. I posted something on Twitter the other day with some other names, but what I'll pose this to you: like, if the Pistons could get CJ McCollum for, say, you'd have to have Tim Hardaway Jr. in there for salary, and then it's probably going to be like Marcus Sasser and another player of some sort. Would you do it?
I mean, probably, right? Because we desperately need the secondary ball handling, and while Sasser has been really great, I want to say Sasser minutes, they're great to watch. I feel confident when he's out there. He hustles. Like today, he got the elbow in the face, and after that he just swam back. He guarded him real tight again. I feel like it just shows like he has really good character, and
Yeah.
like he's there, and he always gets his shots off. And I'm confident when Sasha shoots. I'm not no. I'm really like, yeah, that guy can shoot. He'll make it.
No, he is a bucket for sure. Like
So
when
like,
he's taking his step back three, like I'm
yeah.
with you. I want him getting
So
to that.
losing him would hurt, but I feel like for the CJ McCollum, who he's a bucket. He scored 50 this season. He knows how to
Yeah.
score, and he's also a ball handler. So I would be really happy with that.
Yeah, I think. Look, I obviously, I think YouTube user, if you're still watching, you threw in a trade last stream for CJ. if you remember, could you drop that in there? Because I'm pretty sure it was Sasa, Tim Hardaway Jr., and someone else. But yeah, it would hurt to lose Sasa because you're kind of bringing in ball handling and losing ball handling. But I think if you had to do it, like I think I really like Sasa. Like I really do. I thought he was one of the best Pistons
definitely.
tonight. Big reason for them. I think they built a 7-point lead, I want to say, with him on the court, maybe. But they just desperately need that second score. Like they really are missing Jaden Ivey's 20 points a night. Like or 19, whatever it was.
I don't want to discredit Sasser in like any way. He has been great in the role he plays. He's been great, but with the ball handling, you know this, he's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard. Like he knows how to he knows a little bit how to pass and stuff, but he's not really a great ball handler at an NBA level. And I feel like CJ McCollum could be there for us. So while losing him would hurt, I feel like CJ McCollum is just a straight upgrade over THJ, who I have to give credit to THJ. He has bailed us out quite a few times, like in the Miami Heat game. But I feel like it would be worth it.
Yeah, no, and like THJ's been like even tonight. I know he missed those free throws, but I feel like he hits some key threes. He's definitely out of that funk he was in after the head injury, but just with the way the contracts work, I think he has to be involved, or else it would be Stu maybe. But I don't know. Stu wasn't the best tonight, but I just feel like he's defense is like when this team's been playing their best, he's been leading them from that side. So
I feel like Stu is also like really, really important for the culture of the team. So definitely. I'm not sure we can trade him away. But Tim, Tim has. I'm sure he's important to the locker room. I'm not in the locker room. I can't say, but in the clips we see, it feels like obviously everyone contributes to the great atmosphere, but I feel like Tim has also, he's exceeded my expectations this year. And Tim came off that really, really bad playoff run. And then I saw him. Then I saw him in preseason, and I was scared for every backboard around the league. But
I forgot about that because he struggled in the preseason, but then started the season hot, so I forgot.
I said things about him that I would not say today in preseason. But he played well. But CJ is just a straight upgrade, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. And this was the trade here. CJ in any minimum contract from the Pelicans for THJ, Sasa, and Wendell Moore works financially. Yeah. Sasa's probably the one guy there. I'm like, oh man, I'd like to keep him. So you have the three ball handlers.
Sasa's the biggest loss there.
Yeah. And THJ is as well, but I feel like if they're going to do any trade for whether it's Lonzo Ball, whether it's obviously CJ or some of the other names that have been mentioned, I feel like THJ, just because of his contract, needs to go. So Sasa there is like, that's the one that hurts.
But unless you're getting like a minimum guy as a secondary ball handler, you're gonna have to let go of one of the vets. So.
Exactly. So I want to ask you about. I haven't spoken about B-Ball Paul yet. So Chili here brings up B-Ball Paul needs more minutes.
I wanted to talk about B-Ball Paul because
beautiful, far away.
Duran and Stu both had 3 fouls after like basically the first quarter. So B-Ball Paul played like most of the second quarter, and he was great. He's always so great when he plays. I feel like somehow he has to get more minutes. I don't know how. I'm not sure we should run an 11-man rotation with 3 centers.
But it's tough.
He plays so great. He's he's so overqualified to be a 3rd string center on an 8 seed in the East. But I love it. I'm happy when he plays.
Yeah, so just for those that might have missed the game if they're watching or watching this
9
after.
points.
Yeah, so he played that stretch you spoke about, John. So it was in the second quarter. Both of the other bigs were in foul trouble, so they put Paul Reed in, and he had 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a really nice block in like 8 minutes of
Yeah.
play.
6 points.
And
Yeah.
I think the Pistons, was it like almost tied at halftime? I think when Paul Reed came
Yeah.
in, they were down a few buckets, and then he helped them get back to within 1
Yeah.
point or
Definitely.
something. His activity, like he just makes so many plays. So it is tough. Like I also though, like you said, it's kind of tough to see them playing 3 centers in a 10 or 11 man rotation. Like it just doesn't feel right. But I mean, whenever he comes in and plays these short spurts of minutes, he's always looks really good.
Yeah. Like he's great when he plays, which is kind of sad because he doesn't. We already have. We don't have infinite minutes, so he can't play that much.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I get it, but I also understand why he doesn't play, because I just think Stu and Duran, like Duran's just going to start. I feel like for as long as he's on the
Yeah.
roster this season at least, which I'm okay with, because I think even with his struggles, like he he's like the chemistry him and Cade have on offense, where Cade
It's
can
in.
just toss it up, like
He always catches it. I don't know.
yeah, like I truly feel like he's not he's not probably more skilled than Paul Reed offensively, but his size and just his threat as a role man with Cade is just the best option of the 3 centers offensively by far, I feel like. But yeah, it's tough to find the minutes, but B-Ball Paul Reed was awesome in that stretch.
Yeah.
What else do you have? Do you have anything else stand out tonight?
I need to get my Ron Holland propaganda off. That
Oh,
man
let's
is
do it.
that man is a great basketball player. He knows how to shoot. Somehow he figured it out mid-season how to shoot a three-pointer, and now he knows how to shoot three-pointers, at least wide open ones.
Do you
And
feel
I'm
like they're
happy.
just yeah? His jumper, like I think he did airball one tonight, but 2 or 4
Yeah, but
from
we don't
three,
talk about
9
that.
points. No, we don't. Not well. When you make 2, it's okay. I think
Yeah,
I've seen Cade airball one this season. Um,
Devin Booker
yeah,
elbow
he's
one. He can elbow
yeah.
one.
No, I think Ron, like that's just what gives me so much confidence in him becoming like a real. I don't know if I want to say a second or first primary option, but there's definitely, from what we've seen so far, plenty of like I just feel like there's a real outcome where he becomes like an 18 to 20 point per game
Yeah,
scorer,
the
just with the
upside
confidence.
is so
The
great
upside. Yeah.
because he's such a good defender,
Yeah.
and the scoring he knows how to drive. Sometimes
Yeah.
the layups get a bit funky, but he knows how to get in the paint. He knows how to shoot, and
Yeah.
if you know those two, you're at least a decent scorer. And paired with that great defense, I feel like he has really really good upside.
Yeah. Oh, when you like him and Asar obviously get compared a lot, but
Yeah,
I just think there's quite a significant gap in terms of offensive scoring ability between Ron and Asar. And I think
yeah,
a
I feel
lot
like
of it is the confidence that Ron has, and
yes,
just the jumper that has always looked better. But look, Asar's a better athlete and a better defender, and he always
yeah, I
probably
feel
will
like
be.
there's a
But
gap
like
in
Ron,
both.
yeah, but Ron is a scorer. Like his confidence and just some of the stuff he's shown this season, I'm like, he could be something really, really special
Yeah,
for this team.
yeah, I
Like
was
he's constantly surprised me.
yeah, I was even surprised like that we picked him at 5 because he would have been there later. I think I could say that pretty surely. Like I was sure, like all the pre-draft stuff, I was sure that we were getting Matas Buzelis. I was in my dreams, I was hoping for Risachet, but I was sure, okay, we're getting Buzelis. And then we got Ron Holland, and I wasn't sure. I knew he wasn't that great of a shooter, so I was kind of scared because we're adding another non-shooter and we're adding basically SR again to the team, and we needed shooting desperately, but his shooting has been better than expected. So it's just been a good pick. That's why I'm not a GM.
Well, I think the thing was like when because I had Bryce Simon on the show this week and we
Yeah,
were
yeah, I
talking
saw, I
about
saw.
Ron. Yeah, I asked him like, where did you have Ron pre-draft? And he's like, I had Ron quite high, but he's like, it just his skill set didn't really like fit with many teams that were at the top of the draft.
Yeah, yeah,
I think from memory that's what he said, and like, but he always was high on Ron until it came to like once the draft lottery was set, and it's because Ron, like, even though he struggled to score efficiently, like even at the G League, I think he averaged like 20 a game and had
yeah,
multiple big games. Like he's always had that mindset of being a scorer. Whether or not it's been efficient has been like the question, but even at high school, I think it was much the same. So, I mean, in some like I probably shouldn't be surprised like he's come out and been so aggressive and confident at all and made strides like this, but it's just so good to see because he was awesome. I think it was start of the fourth tonight where he had like 7 points in a row or something. He was
yeah.
he has those little stretches where you're like, man, this kid's gonna be special. I'm like he's 19, isn't he? Or is he 20?
I think he's 19. Yeah, he should still be 19.
So it's just it's so fun. Love Ron.
Yeah.
Um anywhere else you want to go, John, before I let you go?
I want to say one thing.
Go for it.
I want to see more garbage time minutes just to see Bobby Clipman shoot the basketball. That's all I want to see. I want to see Bobby Clipman shoot the basketball on an NBA court. That's all I need.
Oh, I think he was back with the G League tonight. So
Yeah, he was. I
just
saw
for
G League
tonight,
clips
but I'm with you. We need garbage
recently.
time minutes, whether the Pistons are up or they're down. Like we
We
want to
need
see Bobby.
garbage time. That's
This
all I
team
need.
they pulled up
We
a
don't
stat
play
actually.
garbage time.
I know. They put up a stat and it was like the Pistons are 5-1 in clutch time. And I thought that was for the season. I'm like, that number seems off. And I looked at it was in January alone.
No, we've played like
the, they
30 clutch games, it feels like.
This
I
was their
recently looked it
seventh
up.
clutch game of the month. Like,
Yeah, and
just in
it's our
January.
ninth game of the month or something. Like
Yeah, it's
we
insane.
we we don't know how to play garbage time. It doesn't exist. It's really a myth at this point. I don't even know. We
It
only
is,
the
man.
only time I remember this month where we played actual garbage time was against a Nets team where there were so little people. I wouldn't have been surprised if they called up Killian Hayes from the G League.
It was pretty funny. Like, I mean, yeah, I can't believe Killian wasn't called up for that game.
Yeah, their
Like,
bench
they
was
had, like,
empty.
yeah, it's crazy.
I saw a clip of a guy, one of the guys, Tozan. He was on our team last year. I remember that.
Yeah.
He was laying on the whole bench. He had so much space on the bench. No one was there.
That game was crazy. That's probably the only garbage time game they've had that I can remember since like
Yeah, that's the only one
early
I remember.
December. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I just want to see Bobby Clement shoot the basketball. That's my last take for today.
I know, man, because even in that game against the Nets, he didn't get a shot up.
No, he got 2 rebounds.
Oh
That's
man,
it.
I know, bro. I know everyone's dying for some Bobby minutes,
I'm
but
really dying. I need to play some meaningless games, man. I need
I
some
know.
Bobby minutes.
Last thing I want to ask you, and then I'll let you go. So I've got the schedule here. They play in Houston in 2 days' time. They then play in Atlanta 2 days later, and then they play in Orlando. So that's their 3 games next week, all on the road.
Oh
How are
yeah.
you feeling about those games?
Um, I'm not feeling good about the Houston game.
Yeah.
Um, the Hawks game, I feel like we should win that. It's the Atlanta Hawks. You should win that game. Even though they're like a game ahead of us, but I feel like we should win the game. And then the Magic game, um, I'm also not that confident about the Magic game, but I
Yeah.
feel like we could win that. We could definitely win that. The only one that I think is going to be hard to win is the Rockets game because they're just such a great team.
Yeah.
But the other two are definitely winnable, and the Hawks we should win.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think you have to beat the Hawks. One for, like you said, the standings. Like I think the Hawks are a game ahead now. And then try and win Magic. Although I'd love to beat Houston, but I'm
I'd
with you. I think if they
it,
can
but
if they can just get that Atlanta win as well, you stop yourself from going on potentially a 5-game losing streak, which I think wouldn't be ideal. So just beat the Hawks and then let's see what happens in the other 2 games. I think it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you so much for joining. I'm guessing the time for you is actually not too bad today.
No,
or is it still quite late?
I mean, it's 1:37 a.m., but it's not that bad. Like usually it's like 4:30.
Yeah. Well, look, man, thank you so much for
The
jumping on.
Rockets game is going to be good. That's at 8 p.m. for me. That's great for me.
Bro, you may as well be on the East Coast in Detroit watching it.
Yeah, that's 8 p.m. for me. I don't got no problem with the Rockets game.
Well, we might have you on then after that game.
Yeah, if I probably.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for jumping
right.
on. Always a pleasure to chat, bro. We'll talk soon. Catch ya. All right, we got my man Devon.
It's Davon.
Davon, what's going on,
everybody
brother?
messed it up. It's all good.
Hey, my bad.
It's all
Appreciate you jumping on, man. How you feeling?
I mean, I'll be better if we lost. I mean, if we won, but it's all right.
Oh man, look, I've spoken a fair bit about the game. Like I've gotten so used to winning, especially like I thought they had it today. I thought that they were going to win. But can I first ask you, how did you become a Pistons fan? How long you been supporting the team? All that kind of stuff. Your history with the Pistons.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Michigan, so I can't say I've always been a Pistons fan. When I was younger, I was kind of like the little devilish kid, kind of like Kobe, the Lakers, the Spurs. But after they won the championship, something like 04 and just like all the brawl happening, the 04 team, just the going to work team, like grew to love them, especially like growing up playing basketball. My brother thought he was Ben Wallace. He used to wear like arm brands on his arm and stuff, tie them together. I used to think I was Rip Hamilton. Used to pump fake, get people on foul. So just growing up, just in Michigan, just loving the team like that.
I love it, man. I love it. So because now that I know you're still in Michigan? Are you in Detroit?
No, I mean, but like all my family's there, so I mean, it's still home,
So I was gonna say, are you catching the Lions game after this?
I'm not a football fan. Like I'm just
really,
yeah.
Obviously, I don't follow football at all, but most people I have on here from the US are like all Lions fans.
Yeah, we take it serious over here, but I don't know nothing about football. Like basketball,
really?
that's my sport. But football, I'm like, I don't know nobody. I can't even tell you Jared Gardner if they chant his name, but I don't even know who he is.
Really? That's crazy. That's crazy. I love it. How you feeling about today's game? Let's quickly talk about that. Have you got any thoughts, any main takeaways, any frustrations? Far away.
I mean, I typically don't get mad about stuff because it's just basketball, so I can't say I'm mad. It's just more so like you can just tell that the team really need Ivory, and to me, I've been pushing for it all year because when we came to this season, to me, the team was incomplete. To me, they needed a backup point guard. This is stuff we knew. We knew they needed a 7-footer, so like it's just showing more and more now that like J.I. is hurt. So that's kind of my main takeaway. Just Cade can't do it all.
Yeah, man. I think that's you're so right in pointing that out. Like Jaden Ivey, like they have missed him so much these past 2 games, and it stood out so much, bro. Oh man, especially when the Pacers were clowning us, I was like, I wish JR was here. He would have made some plays. But they really miss everything he brings, like second leading scorer, shooting the hell out of the ball. And just someone who can take the pressure off Cade, like who can you put on them? Because I feel like Sasser and Cade don't play many minutes together because they're the only 2 ball handlers. But they miss him a lot.
No, it's definitely missed. I unfortunately didn't get to see the Pacers game because I kind of caught it late, but Just that,
No,
just what I've been catching on it, it seemed like it was a pretty good game. I'm gonna watch it probably tomorrow, but even that, it
oh
felt
man.
like Detroit sports is kind of getting back to where we used to be.
It's look. I'm obviously not from Detroit,
Yeah,
but obviously following the team now for like nearly 15 years or whatever it is. Like I've come to like meet so many people from Detroit, and like I know the Tigers before this season have been down. I know the Lions are just historically been down the whole time,
yeah,
and I certainly know the Pistons have been down for a long time. So it's really cool to see, like even with a loss today, like to be still like 21-21, like halfway through the season is to me still like, yeah, I won't get tired of looking at the standings and
I
talking
swear.
about this team in a positive way, because it's still been like, you're so right. Like they desperately need a backup point guard, or at least someone who can come in and handle the ball. But like this team has still been so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it's better than a 14 win team. So
Oh man,
it is.
can
It's
I
still
ask
a
you
lot positive. You know,
how much did you watch last season?
I mean, probably like all of it. I mean, I do work a lot, but I still like since basketball is the only thing I do watch. I mean, I pretty much watch it all.
I love it,
Unfortunately,
bro. I'm right there with you, man.
yeah,
I watched it all. I mean, I feel like the last season, like as horrible as that was, like it's made this season so much better in a way.
yeah,
Like because it's just like, man, I'm so great. Like it's so cool to see Cade's rise, but just the other young guys and them having smiles on their faces and stuff. It's been a
yeah.
heap of fun.
I was about to say that. Just them smiling. Like last year, like Cade looked like he's about to cry so many times, and it's like I look at it in perspective. Of course, I'm not a basketball player, but just being at a toxic job and just knowing how it is to be at a toxic job and like just come to work every single day and just got like a coach, and you can say like that's for us like a manager who don't have your back. And like that would suck. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
I wouldn't want to do
And
that.
like I feel like they would. There's no question they would have gone into 90% of their games last season knowing they're probably going to lose.
Yeah,
Like then that, I know they get paid millions and all of that kind of stuff, but like at the end of the day, like they still care a lot
yeah,
about, like they have pride, and it would
yeah,
just suck coming in knowing you don't really have a shot because your team's not very good, and like you said, your coach, his commitment's questionable. But I'm so glad those days are behind
I
us.
swear.
And we're getting to see them smile and have fun. Like, I guess a question for you then is like, how do you see this team? That like I said, they're 21-21. I think that they'd still be 8th or 9th in the East after tonight. Um, how do you think the rest of the season looks for them, and what are your hopes for them?
All right, I might sound like the crazy Pistons fan, the homer, but I just think they're going to the playoffs. Like, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to the playoffs. When I look at the seeding, like the only teams we really have to worry about, like say we get in the play in, we have to worry about the 76ers if they catch up, and maybe the Hawks. After that, and like who else is going to beat us? You think the Hornets is going to beat us in the play in? The Wizards, the Nets? Like, no, it's not going to happen. So to me, I just think they're going to get in between the 6th and 8th seed, maybe even higher. They're going to get into the play-ins, like or the playoffs. It's no doubt in my mind they're going to make the playoffs.
I'm with you, man. I think they got to make a move, and I
Me
think
too.
you brought that up earlier. But like the playoffs are like, I don't think you're crazy at all. Like because the Bulls are now a few games behind the Pistons. I don't know what's going on with Philly, but like they're 11th, and they're obviously still a threat because of the talent they have. But the Pistons have still got a fair gap between them. Like I just can't see them falling out of the play-in. And if they make a little move here to help address some of those issues, I'm with you, man. I want them to be in the playoffs so badly because I think they've definitely got the talent to do it. Even if like some people might say, oh, they're outplaying like their record's better than their roster, but I just still think like the East honestly is a bit of a mess. So
Yeah.
they should be going for the playoffs for me. So I don't think you're crazy at all. I love it.
Yeah, I've been saying it all year. Probably a little annoying with it, but like I said, them missing a point guard, them not having a 70-footer, and just the whole cat space thing with Paul Reed and everything is just we have all this money, 14 million. If they don't
Yeah.
make a move, like we should riot. Like there's no way they shouldn't make a move. Like they have so many You don't even have to make a big move, like just something
Yeah.
to get like a backup point guard on the aspiring deal, or get
Yeah.
like a power forward for Tech because Tech been struggling. Like just make a small move, playoff push. That's good. That's all you need, and I'll be happy.
I've got some names here because I'm with you, and I posted this on Twitter. So sorry if people have already seen this or whatever. But so these names here, right? These guys are either on expiring deals or on a 2-year contract and they expire next season. So CJ McCollum, Dante Exum, Colin Sexton, Lonzo Ball, Bruce Brown Jr. All kind of point guards or shooting guards, or just ball handlers, and some of them better scorers than other. Do any of those names appeal to you that could help this team?
To me, like I'm not a big names guy because I
Yeah.
mean, for example, look at Malik Beasley.
Yeah.
He's not a big name, but look how much he helped the team out. So I'm not really a big name guy, but I kind of getting sold on the Lonzo Ball thing, and also
Yeah.
like a Malcolm Brogdon, even Mike Conley, even though he's old and people call him washed. I'm looking more so as contracts because to me, I think we need to bring back Malik Beasley. Like to me, that's like a must. So I'm looking at it like more so who can just play this role. It's not necessarily need to play a big role playing the backup point guard. Like especially I believe Javen Irie, he might come back late for the playoff push. So to me, like if we can just come in to hold it down, play point guard, give Kate that rest is really it's not really a big deal to me as long as they can play some defense, shoot three, and play make more than anything because we need playmaking more than anything. Then I'm pretty
I
good with
love those two
anybody.
names. Malcolm Brogdon, like, admittedly, I've only watched Pistons this season, but Malcolm
Same.
Brogdon definitely can do those things you mentioned and stuff this team needs. And Mike Conley, yeah, I was actually listening to a podcast and they were like, Mike Conley's washed. But look, they're looking at it through a lens maybe of like helping the Wolves like actually win a playoff round. And, I know they're struggling, but the Wolves have like championship aspirations, whereas the Pistons, I feel like Conley, yeah, I think he's only expiring.
It's like 2
Definitely
years,
could
9
come in.
mil.
Well, there you go. So like he could definitely come in and fill a void for sure. So there's plenty of names out there, and I'm with you. The Pistons, if they don't make a move, we will riot. I love what
I swear.
Trajan's done so far, but they have 14 million in cap space, a free roster spot. Like I know they're kind of handicapped with the pick they owe, but still, man, they're gonna do something.
Yeah, they better.
Well, man, you're coming back on here, and we're riding.
I
We're
swear.
going crazy, bro. Any other topics you want to discuss, man? Anything about the team, Pistons
Just a
overall?
little. I'll say a little just because I'm on here, but I do think like as far as the move, because I know some people's going crazy, especially when I talk about Mark Kindly, but like we have to look at this team. Also, people like Michael Brown, just veterans. If we bring someone in here, it can't just be making a move just to make a move. Like the chemistry is really good right now. Like when the season first started up, I'm like, Tim Hardaway Jr., that contract, he's gone. We don't need him. But now the season like progressed, I'm like, he's actually helping out the team a lot. The locker room standpoint, just all these vets are helping out the locker room a lot. So to me, as long as we make a small move, I'm cool. But I think a lot of people, I mean, we all want to trade. We're kind of desperate for it. But be mindful for, who we get. The grass ain't always greener on the other side. We could get someone in. We kind of mess up and go into like a losing streak. And to kind of elaborate that more, you see like the Magic, they just got Pablo back and that's their star player, but they're kind of going on a slump because they had to reacclimate him to the system and
Yeah.
stuff. So don't always get, wooed by the big sexy name. It's more so like keep this chemistry going and just get somebody going, get the right fit
No,
more so the person.
I really like that perspective because I'm with you like for this season. Like I know they could go on a bit of a losing streak here and that would suck, but I think they can definitely address some of the issues with a smaller, more smarter move and then look to maybe make that big move in the offseason if there's a name that presents itself. Because I think for me, the reason earlier on in the season I was like, man, I'm at the point where I want Ingram or Levine was simply because the team was like 5 or 6 games below 500 and I just thought they needed a jolt and that I probably didn't have enough faith that they were going to be able to turn it around
Yeah,
like they have this season, like just truthfully. But the fact now they are a 500 team with this roster, it's like, and there's real chemistry there, like you mentioned, and we spoke about them like smiling and having fun, like all that stuff builds confidence. So, even if they lose another couple here, I still think if you just make a smaller move, you can still make the playoffs. I fully believe that. And yeah, look to make a bigger move later.
Yeah. The thing is too, like right now we just need to get into the winning culture. Like right now we see the culture forming. Of course, people want we want it now because we've been suffering so long. But I mean, the culture is there. You see Beef Stew out there. This is Detroit ripping off his jersey.
Yeah.
You see Kay's cousin Cannon, or not Cannon, but Ashton saying he
Yeah.
loved Detroit and stuff like that. Like we never had this, even though social media, is fairly new, but we never had like a superstar just loving our city, his whole family
Yeah.
loving the city. So it's something special going. It's like the beginning of it, but you can tell like the culture is really coming around.
No, it is, man. And that's like, I know you missed some of the Pacers game, but there's a real rivalry brewing. Like I know
Yeah.
Pacers and Pistons rivalry goes back ages, but like they're so cool to see those two teams. Like they really don't like each other. It was
Yeah.
chippy. Like it was funny. I mean, I hate the Pacers now. Like they've
I feel
annoyed me this season. But just as like I'm a Pistons fan. Like I don't actually hate them, but you know what I mean. Like I love feeling like that and being like, holy, like it's so good. Like we've got a superstar. Like we do. We've got like a fun, gritty team that can actually have a real competitive rivalry with another team. Like I love seeing that. Like if you're so right, it feels like since I've been a fan, at least, like they've never had like a superstar of this caliber who's like bought into the city and it feels like he's going to be here for at least
Yeah.
another 5 seasons. Like Blake was a flash in the pan. He was awesome for a season and a half, but he was old at the end of his prime. And then Andre, I loved Andre Drummond and that Reggie Jackson team, but they just never really were good enough in terms of having that superstar. So it's awesome to see.
I wish Dre was on this team. I swear. I miss Dre.
Man, Andre's my favorite Piston ever. So I love Dre.
Yeah.
He's the reason I'm a fan.
Yeah. I heard you say that on another podcast before. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's the guy that brought
no.
you in. But I don't understand though. But if we had Dre on this team, I think we'd be a lot better. Like I like Durham, but Andre was like a beast. He just didn't have the team around him. And I don't think a lot of fans understood that.
No, Dre, so I feel like towards his last couple of seasons with the Pistons are a little bit disappointing, but like early on and like when he was an all-star, like I think he was underrated in Detroit. He did have some down moments in the playoffs, but I feel like the issue for him was he was kind of miscast. Like he was
Yeah.
not meant to be your primary option. And he kind of he wanted to be that guy, but he was also kind of pushed in that direction to be that guy. And it just wasn't what he was meant to be. But like, yeah, he was not even trying to like put Duran down, but Dre was like better, like a lot better than Duran. I feel like in like what he brought, even if Andre wasn't perfect, obviously.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. Andre was like a walk in 2020, but I don't know. Darren's still young. I don't want to give up on him, but I mean, if he was like Andre, I think the Pistons would definitely they'd be a whole new different team. That's the only way to say it. Like they'd be crazy.
I love that we're having some Andre Drummond chat. It'll probably be annoying some people in the chat, but
I know, bro. He's not on the team anymore. He sucks. Right, going off.
No, I love Andre no matter what. Like, he's a guy who made me a Pistons fan. And honestly, like for my first 5 years of watching Pistons basketball, I was a Pistons fan, but like I was just an Andre Drummond fan. Like truly, I got league pass to watch him. Yeah, I just was all in on Andre. So yeah, he'll always have a special place for me.
I feel that.
So I hope he comes back, even if he's like a little bit washed. Like if it's in a couple of seasons, it'd be cool to see him finish in Detroit.
No, I definitely feel you with that.
Any other thoughts, my brother?
No, I just want to say thanks for having me on here. I've been watching you and some like other creators and stuff. It's just dope to see this whole like community of Pistons fans, Pistons content creators, and just everyone just seemed like everyone is just good people and nice people, and it's rare to see on social media. Like people actually getting along and just, I don't see anyone talking crazy. It's just a beautiful thing to have. So just want to thank you for having me on here, and don't slip on,
course.
what you're doing. Just bring people, on here, bring a community, because it's a big thing, It's
Of
very
course,
important.
man. And absolutely. And there was a comment here earlier, and I'm only bringing this up to just reiterate something. But Mr. Jones said here, cool that Jack has turned this into a real fan base pod. Like this shows literally from the start was for the fans. I feel like people are just figuring out now, like they can come up here and they've got a understanding of what the platform is. And like I appreciate that, Mr. Jones. But like this shows literally like anyone can come up here and chat, man. Like it's been like awesome having Devon on here. Like we've had Mark this morning from Perth. Like this show after every game, and we'll do these throughout the off season, is just for you guys to come up and talk. Like sometimes I talk too much and don't let you guys talk enough, but like honestly, like I just want to meet more Pistons fans. So please, anyone, if you haven't come up or you've come up once and think that I've like, just please keep coming up. I just DM me and get up here, because I'll keep this stream going for as long as people want to jump on, because I just love chatting with you all. It's the best.
You're not gonna bite him through the screen.
But no, man, it's awesome. Yeah, love chatting with you, man. Love chatting with everyone. It's the best.
Yeah, same.
So man, please, if you want to come back up, you just go DM me and we'll get you up after every game if you got the time or whenever, brother.
All right, cool. We'll do.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, thanks
We'll
for
talk
having
soon.
me again.
Catch you, man.
All right, peace.
All right, guys. I can see a lot of you here chatting. Been a lot of CJ McCollum chat. YouTube user and Arthur going at it in here. Just another Ross. Delano Banton. I don't know why I struggled so much saying his name then. But where is he at the moment? I remember him on the Raptors, and I think he was with the Celtics for a minute. He's a big guard. He could probably potentially help out. Don't know where he is this season, but that's a good call from you. Just another Ross. My guy, all things Sacramento Kings, jumped over on Twitter from TikTok. Hope you're well, man. Yeah, another rough loss. The Kings and Pistons were both on a streak. Now it feels like the Kings are the ones who continue to win, and the Pistons are going through a bit of a lull. But appreciate you dropping a comment, my brother. Keep doing your thing. What else we got in here? Mark, sport hate is healthy. Yeah, we're Collingwood hate them. Actually, Mark, if you're still watching, Essendon's my most hated team. But yeah, Collingwood are kind of like the Lakers of the NBA, I feel. Great call from you, Mark. What else we got in here? He's with the Jazz. Okay, got you. 6'10" point guard out of Nebraska. Yeah. I'm not sure. From memory, he can't really he's not the best shooter. Maybe I'm incorrect there, but yeah, he's got plenty of size and like definitely can handle the ball. So it's a great call from you, man. I love it. Just checking my DMs to make sure we don't have anyone else popping on. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it. I got to bounce. I'm doing for anyone from Australia here, I'm doing some NBL work this afternoon, covering some games. Mark, you'll know what I'm talking about. I wonder if the Wildcats are playing. I'm doing socials for both these games. I'm sure Mark's still watching. Shout out to Bryce Cotton. That man has been going crazy down here in Australia. No Wildcats. Anyway, I got to go, guys, but thank you so much for everyone tuning in. Like after these losses, honestly, I'm so grateful for you guys jump in the chat here. YouTube user, Mr. Jones, Nuggies. Sorry, I didn't bring up your comment, man, but you're always in here supporting. Chili, Arthur, appreciate all you guys just in here chatting away. Hope to get you up on stage one day. But yeah, it really means a lot that even when you're in the comments, just keeping the conversation going and giving me things to discuss and bringing up things I missed. Yeah, I appreciate it all. And thank you to all our guests today. 2 new guests and 1 return. We had someone from Mark from Perth, John from Switzerland, and then Devon from the US. It's just really cool to have people from all over the world joining this stream. It's the best. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We'll be back, hopefully celebrating a win against the Rockets. But until then, as always, go Pistons.